Hello and welcome to today's lesson. Assessment is an essential part of language teaching and learning as it helps learners, teachers, and the administrators to measure the effect of teaching and learning. Therefore, apart from the advantages or positive effects, a number of disadvantages or negative effects also caused by testing. On the other hand, designing an appropriate assessment instrument which meets the requirements of validity, reliability, and ensure the aspect of qualified content and structure is not easy. Testing can be classified as formative and summative, objective and subjective, formal and informal, norm-referenced and criterion-referenced. First is formative assessment. This is also known as assessment for learning, which takes place as the course is in progress. It provides information about how well the students are doing, what they have achieved, what they need to work on, and how well the course is meeting their needs. It will have improved the qualities of student learning and the quality of the course itself. Assessing progress means finding what the learner has learned with respect to what has been caught at different points in the course. To continue with the business letter example, as students are taught how to write effective business letters, each letter they write can be viewed in relation to the first one they wrote and in relation to the target, showing the progress they have made and what they have achieved and where they still need to work. One of the principles of assessing progress is that you should assess only what has been touched. If one of the objectives of a speaking and listening course is for students to be able to give effective presentations, then the syllabus and materials will target and teach that skill. Criteria will be developed and students will be assessed on their ability to give an effective presentation. If the teacher simply has students give presentations without teaching them what is involved and how to improve their skills, then they should not be tested on their ability to give presentations. Summative assessment is the assessment of learning. It usually takes place at the end of the course, provides information about the student's overall achievement as well as the overall effectiveness of the course. Summative assessment methods are the most traditional way of evaluating student work. Good summative assessments, tests, and other graded evaluations must be demonstrably reliable, valid, and free of bias. Assessing achievement is a summative form of assessment since it is designed to find out what students have mastered with respect to the knowledge and skills that have been taught in the course or unit. Assessing achievement can also be used as one of the bases for giving grades. If you are expected to give grades, then your assessment plan must include the basis on which grades are given. Part of that plan may be achievement tests or activities. The plan may also include factors such as participation, project work, completion of individual assignments, and so on. If a requirement for passing your course is a certain score on a standardized test, your course content will be influenced by the test requirements. Objective assessment is a form of questioning which has a single correct answer. Question types include true-false answers, multiple choice, and matching questions. Objective assessment involves using selected response items, also known as receptive response items, other kinds of items that require test takers to choose from a list of responses instead of producing one on their own. This implies that the responses involve receptive language because the items from which students must pick are either heard or read. Receptive response item formats include true, false, or binary choice, multiple choice, and matching. The primary advantage of selected response items is the ease in administering and scoring them. Moreover, the scoring can be done objectively and it does not require judgment from the scorer. There are still certain drawbacks when using selected response items, though. Firstly, it is very difficult for item writer to design good items. For example, to restrict the guessability of the items. Secondly, this kind of items does not require the learners to produce language by themselves. Therefore, this type of item is most suitable in testing, reading, and listening. Subjective assessment is a form of questioning which may have more than one correct answer or more than one way of expressing the correct answer. Questions include extended response questions and essays. Those are also known as constructed response items, which are the types of items that requires candidates to produce their responses rather than picking answers from a list. Constructed response items are also referred to as productive response items because in order to give an answer, students must either write or speak. Constructed response item formats include fill-in, short answer, and performance. Constructed response items are frequently used in testing speaking and writing since they require the test takers to perform precisely to the skill they wish to measure. Although constructed response items can reduce the chance of the candidate's ability in answering the questions through pure guessing, they bring about another risk of subjectivity of the scoring process of the markers. For example, which sessions or elements in the workshop did you find most useful and why? Are there any elements or sessions which could have been improved? Non-reference testing relates one candidate's performance to that of other candidates. Criterion testing classifies candidates according to whether they are able to perform some task or a set of tasks satisfactorily. Individual performances are evaluated against a verbal description of a satisfactory performance at a given level. Formal and informal assessment. Formal assessment usually implicates that a written document such as a test, quiz, or paper. Informal assessment occurs in more usual manner, including observation, inventories, checklists, rating scales, peer and self-evaluation, and discussion. Assessment can be either formal or informal. Formal assessment usually implicates a written document, such as a test, quiz, or paper. A formal assessment is given a numerical score or grades based on students' performance. An informal assessment does not contribute to students' final grade. An informal assessment usually occurs in more casual manner and may include observation, inventories, checklists, rating scales, performance and portfolio assessments, participation, peer and self-evaluation, and discussion. The qualities of a good test are reliability, validity, and practicality. Regarding reliability, a test should measure precisely whatever it is supposed to measure. Reliability is the consistency of measurement over time or over a variety of conditions. In other extent, test reliability refers to the consistencies of items in the whole test, It means that a test is reliable when it measures consistently whatever it aims to measure. Reliability and marking involve inter-rater reliability and intra-rater reliability. Reliability estimates are used to evaluate the stability of measurement to the same candidates at different times by using the same standard or the same administration, or the degree of equivalence and consistency of items in the whole test, or the agreements between different raters when scoring the same individuals and using the same test. In order to create a good test, it is necessary to answer the question, are we actually measuring what we are intending to measure? Hughes in 2003 asserts that a test is said to be valid if it measures accurately what it is intended to measure. Using simpler terms, Hammers believes that a valid test does what it says it will. In this way of definition, it can be implied that in order to be considered a good test, a test should fulfill its duty intended by the test makers. For the quality of practicality or administrative, a test must be carefully organized well in advance. When should it take place? How long will the test last? What's the equipment involved? How should the marking be carried out? Practicality, which is quite different from validity and reliability in nature, is also one criterion that a test must satisfy in order to be considered a good test. While reliability and validity concern the use of scores, practicality concerns mainly with the way the test will be implemented and whether it would be used. If the resources required for an implementation of the test exceed the resources available, the test would not be feasible. Practicality refers to the economy of time, effort, and money in testing. Nation in 2009 attributes the practicality only to the scoring process, whether it is easy to mark a test, which is greatly influenced by the types of items and the layout of the answer sheet. In comparison, Bachman and Palmer's approach to practicality is more comprehensive because scoring is not the sole part of implementing a test. There are other phases, designing and administering as well. In other words, a test should be convenient and easy to design, to administer, to mark, and to interpret the results. So, that's the end of this lesson. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye and see you in the next videos.